Good morning, Channa.
Morning. One moment, Meg.
Sure. Hey, Nikki. Good morning. Well, on this
Hello.
side, it's good morning.
Oh. Well, great evening. Great
Yes.
morning.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you. Hey, Shauna, how are you?
I think he's setting up.
Uh,
Okay, got
yeah,
it.
Meg, can you hear me?
Are we good?
Let me connect again.
All right.
How was your day today, Meg?
Good. It's just starting, but I had like a great day yesterday.
Mm,
Yeah, I was just, jotting down what we could talk about. I mean, what we could talk about probably, but I feel like we're just gonna go off today.
got it. Because it's
How was your day,
Well,
Nikki?
it's still Thursday, so
Mm-hmm.
it's going really well. It's of course 11:11 here still,
Right.
which is very powerful. So I was like really in awe when he asked me to join you guys and the date. So I felt like it was aligned and destined. So I'm really excited.
Oh my god. Right. Yes.
Hi, ladies. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So it's actually also it's World Singles Day, right? 11/11.
Oh wow.
Yes.
I think it's my day.
Yeah, I'm ready. So we can start recording.
All right. Yay, welcome everybody. Welcome to
Uh,
Almost Music
wait, wait.
podcast. Are we good?
Sorry. No, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, go. One, two, three, go.
All right. Hey everybody, welcome to our sixth episode of Almost a Music podcast. We are recording live on Clubhouse and I'm so excited to talk about a portal, sort of like a very interesting episode today. And it's the first time that we're actually bringing in a special guest. So, Chana, you want to briefly talk about today, this morning, this evening?
Yes, so welcome everyone to Almost a Music Podcast, another episode. We've been out for some time, and last week we started doing the podcast, and so we recorded another podcast which is on the way to Spotify and other platforms. So today we wanted to talk about creativity, and I welcome Nikki James. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, how are you guys? Thank you so
So.
much for having me. It's truly an honor to be
So how is your 11/11 so far?
here. Well, my 11:11 is amazing. It's been a really peaceful, tranquil day. I really truly feel that everything that's happening on today is destined, it's aligned, and it's been a really powerful, reflective day. So I've just, kind of really been taking back, thinking of things to release, and just feeling like this really huge surge of power, if that makes sense. I don't even know if I'm really describing it with how I've felt all day, but it's been like a peaceful serenity, but yet um, powerful feeling that's pretty much radiating throughout my entire body the entire day. So I've really just tried to be, centered and present as much as possible to really experience any and all things that are happening within this day. And that's pretty much been the day within its entirety. I've been centered around my crystals all day, even from cooking the food that I've had today. It's really been a very peaceful, tranquil, and just observant time today.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And we really welcome you in this space. I feel like there's so many things to be talked about, like energy and portals. And I feel like today, and even if it's already the 12th here, I deeply feel and resonate with what you just shared with us, Nikki, because I feel like there's such a surge of, I don't know how to describe it, like deep energy and creativity to just be an expression of, and how important it is to really stay centered, but at the same time really experiencing or like channeling that sort of energy that's trying to, or that's building up inside of us. And maybe we can talk about how that shows up in the different areas of our lives. But like the first thing that came up when I was just writing down maybe what we could talk about was the law of conservation of energy, and like how it can neither be created nor destroyed, like only transferred. And I guess like there's so much to be said about those things, especially how we interpret that. And it's so interesting to, like, we actually never I never noticed that you were gonna do this episode on that period of the 11/11. So what synchronicity.
I think Nikki's on mute. Maybe have uh, Nikki, you're back.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't hear. Was there a question, Meg, that you were asking me? I'm sorry, it kind of cut off, so I didn't hear that. What was your question? Oh, I think maybe there was a phone call
There, I'm good.
there.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. I felt like when I was jotting down like the different notes for this episode, I just thought of the law of conservation of energy, and how much um of like how it explains that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only conserved. And I'm curious on how our conversation will go on how we sort of channel that energy and spill it over to the different areas of our lives, no matter like how you interpret that question.
Okay. So is the question more so with how do I go about harnessing my energy?
Yep.
Just okay. Wow, that's a really great question. You know what? I don't even know if I can place into words what that entails for me. Um I don't know. That's a really great question. I'm not really sure. I tell you what, why don't you share with me an example of maybe something that happened with you yesterday as far as with you harnessing your 11/11 energy. What was that like for you? And it'll kind of give me an indication of where to start from, kind of breaking down and explaining the question that you just asked me. I know that's a
Right.
little unorthodox, but I'm gonna have you answer that, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
I can definitely kind of expound on it.
Uh-huh. Thanks, Nikki. I feel like for me, it's sort of on the simplest things that I try to, see myself in alignment with, what brings me joy and what brings me excitement. Like, for example, I was making playlist for this recent startup that I joined, and that just brought me to like, wow, I mean, how did I get to a point that I'll be able to express myself and my creativity through making playlist for this thing, like this project? And that just like blew my mind of once we start sort of claiming aligned actions to how we want to see life, how we want to experience life, even in the quote unquote little things. I feel like it just the next step just magically shows up, even if you quite don't see yet how things will pan out in the future so much. I feel like if you are in your moving through your excitement and joy, I feel like there's so much flow and magic in there, no matter how, like, it could sound quite enchanting, or I don't know, it's just very much it blows my mind to when you like start taking full responsibility of how do you want to envision your life to look like or to feel like. Even I hope that answered your question.
Um, yeah, like it did. It simplified it for me, you know what I mean, in a sense. And obviously, you know, for me, I think it becomes, or let me start off by saying this. I think with anything and all things that we do, it's about understanding the energy and the power source, as you eloquently placed it, in the simple things. Understanding how to navigate and harness the power in something so simple. Um, Once you understand the nature of that, it makes it easier for you to move on to other things, for you to understand the process with harnessing your energy and being in a space of manifestation. It's hard for, or I wouldn't even say that it's hard, because I don't want to put that stigma on it. But once you come to the realization of understanding how to harness your power in smaller things, it makes it easier for you to understand the process and the concept where it moves into other areas, such as manifestation. And I'm sure that we've all been in a space where, you know, we've been thinking about a song all day, or thinking about something in particular, or maybe someone, you've been thinking about this person all day. And then within the next hour, they call, you know what I mean? So it's like understanding what that process is. Like, most people are thinking like, oh my God, that's magic. And it is a magical aspect of yourself, but that is, you know, being conscious and aware of your power and what you're capable of doing. You know, and understanding whatever formula that may be for you, moving that into the next tier, and doing other things, where if it's a certain job opportunity, or really manifesting your dreams into existence. And for me as a creative, I will say that, you know, music is the existence of my creativity. It is a big part of who I am. I like to say I'm a baby artist, right? So, you know, moving into the arena of making my own music, and being that artist within any industry, it is self expression for me. It is power to me. And that's one of the gifts that I have when it comes to effectively healing other people. So on days such as today, it's extremely important to make sure that you, as I was sharing with you guys earlier, that you're centered, so that you can truly hear, you know, what is being downloaded, or, you know, what resonates within one's self, being aware of the powers that are going on around you, and how to protect yourself from certain entities that may not align well with your interest. But it starts with the simple things. And like I informed you earlier, as far as today, just being present in the moment is something that's extremely important, because a lot of individuals feel that it's this, you know, like this huge magnical depth of something that you have to understand, when it really isn't. It's the quiet, peaceful space within yourself, understanding how to balance that so that you can really truly be in tune with oneself, because that's where your power, or the heart of where your power lies.
Wow, Nikki, I feel like you touched upon so many things, and especially those that get rarely, I guess, get rarely talked about when we hear the word manifestation, I feel like there's this very this term of it's like magic. It is. Like I
Mm-hmm.
super believe that it is, but once we realize that we can harness that energy or like that sort of power, I mean, all the more the bigger the responsibility of staying centered and moving through what really resonates with us and asking like what's the intention behind our actions so we can fully align with what we are trying to create.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think from just conversations that I've had with a multitude of different people, that's like I was sharing with you earlier, with you guys earlier, the hugest misconception is that, not really truly being in tune with oneself. They're looking outside for this power or even harnessing the power from other people. Like, I'm sure we've all had situations or people that feel like the sun to us. It's like every time you get around this person, it's just like, oh my God, like this is just amazing things happen. And you use this person as your muse for inspiration. And trust me when I tell you, it's nothing wrong with that. Like it's nothing wrong with that. But in time, you'd like to be able to be your own power source, and understanding how to identify that power, that uniqueness, that specialness, that magical aspect of yourself. You want to make sure that you're able to tune into that and pull from that. And a lot of people, again, they're looking for the outside aspect, and they can kind of get connected to someone that provides that. And like, if it could be a partner, or it could be a really best friend of yours, or a mom, or whomever that is your muse, or that resonates this powerful source of energy. Not understanding that that same power is within you, you attach yourself to it, and you feel as if you could potentially lose yourself if you're not around that person. And it's about understanding that whatever it is that connects to that person, that is your source, that's your power. I'm sure a lot of us understand that there are, we have a human design. You could be potentially a manifester, you could be a generator, a manifesting generator. And then there's the fourth one, a projector, I think, if I hadn't said that
Yep.
already. But yes, so you have those forms, and truly understanding your human design will give you a better, interpretation of, more about yourself when it comes to an energy or power source. But I say all of that to say, basically, me being a generator, I'm a power source, so I'm like the sun, and a lot of people feel connected when they are around me. But my whole thing, as to one of the major reasons of me wanting to get into music and be an artist, is I want to inspire those to look within themselves and find and be that power source, understanding that you are the sun. We are all magical beings. And that's very important to understand. And, once you truly understand that, that's when the real work begins. That's when you're able to open up your present, so to speak, and really kind of discover this amazing person, not only that you are, but from a spiritual standpoint, and how you're able to use that to heal and affect other people. So on days such as today, you can really take advantage and allow that space, the portal, to fuel yourself and to regenerate yourself, and to even use that as a source to enhance that's already within you. So it's a very beautiful thing. You never stop evolving and learning about yourself, which is beautiful. And the more you learn about yourself, the more you open yourself up to the possibilities of the unknown. it's the more you'll blow your mind, and you will, just be amazed at not only all of the magical things within you, but that of others, and how connected we are as one, and the power of what we could potentially to do or be, as we awaken to our true self, and just navigating through life, and being creative. It's a really beautiful thing.
Nikki,
Mm, wow.
Nikki, yeah,
Yes.
hi. Nikki,
Hi.
you brought the word. You mentioned this word creative few times. Um, what do you? What's your definition of a creative?
That's a really great question. I love your questions. um, the definition of a creative. Wow, we know the standard definition, right? But I think it's deeper than that. From just that of the original definition. If I had to place it, a definition on creative, it would be anyone whom is able to produce an outlet that inspires creativity within other people. Um, and that could be, you being a chef. It could be, you being an artist, because there's a process in any aspect of creativity. And typically, most creative people, I like to think or state that they are healers to some degree. um, Whether it's a physical healer, from that being a doctor I feel could be a creative, because it you have to be you have to have certain gifts in order to heal people. Yes, you need to be extremely intelligent and obtain a lot of knowledge so that you can be as effective as possible with your job. But it's certain things that even going to school, it can't teach you. You have to have that natural, nurturing spirit within you. um, just like that, as of with a chef, I like to call myself a chef alchemist, so to speak. I don't typically measure a lot of ingredients when I'm making food, but what I do is, I taste certain things, or, you have like some form of an indication of what basil would possibly taste like with this, mango papaya type, deal, or what have you, and how it's able to bring out flavors in whatever dish that you're preparing. Most people follow a recipe, and I am guided by my spirit. That's a creative process. So that is, to me, if I had to place any form of a definition as to what a creative would be, it's basically anyone that is able, by however their gifts are nurtured, are able to inspire and bring out creativity within other individuals. Because there's no right or wrong way to be a creative. I feel, in my experience, it's just more so, being a soulful individual and able to inspire and, again, nurture, heal, and bring out gifts within others.
Yeah, I love your answer because being creative, I think there's a misconception that this is all about, maybe it's about art, it may be music, and it's about, social media and all that. But I think it goes beyond that. Creativity is basically living your life uh, in a different way that people who typically wouldn't do it, right? And you take decisions and actions and even selecting words how you speak. That can be a creative thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think communication itself, you have certain people that communicate effectively, and it's an art to it, because I've trust me when I tell you, I have been around a multitude of different people that they just, oh my goodness, if it's not the comprehension they're having issues with, it's just listening to respond instead of understand. There is an art to communication, and we take it for granted because we think these are skills that you should have been taught in what, elementary school. But they're not, not everyone has it. So even communication is an art of creativity. Being able to say something in a way that's effective, you're able to get your point across, but you say it in a way
to where the person's able to retain it and understand it, understanding that everyone comprehends things completely differently, being able to listen to a person and understand that someone's energy and how they retain information. That is a gift. That is a creative. Because trust me, again, when I tell you, I have spoken to a multitude of different people and they just don't feel like, effective communication is a resource. And they could not be further from the truth. It is so vital. It is so important. And I feel a lot of things could be settled just by just by having a deeper sense of communication. Emotional intelligence, which a great percentage of the population does not have, because I feel like they've been desensitized between a lot of things. It's not the normal way of communicating or just dealing with people around you. They don't understand, the emotional intelligence process, and how that plays a factor in communicating effectively with other people, being courteous and compassionate. Those things are gifts, and that those are things that can also be associated with being creative, because if one person, you know, has that emotional intelligence and effective communication and understanding the behavioral aspects of humans and can place that together effectively within a course of a mere conversation, to me, that is a creative. That is a gift, and a special gift that a lot of people would love to harness. So I could not agree with you more, Channa. Like, that is spot on for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the yeah, go ahead, Meg.
Yeah, I feel like the art of listening is so underrated. Like sometimes I would I would think like when let's say I talk to a person, it could be like them responding to not really what I said, but really what's in their heads. I was like, wow, I mean, this is such a huge like like revelation of how people just relate with each other, and how much, like, if we practice, like, it's such a great practice to have conversations that, you know I don't know what's there, but like Nikki just put it so eloquently and like so direct, but also there's so many factors that come into play. And one thing that I would say that really um takes into play, like, in these conversations, is just presence. Like, I feel like sometimes I think that I meet no one but me. Like, these people are maybe reflections of past me, or reflections of who how I would handle things before. And right now, if we have that, like, greater awareness of actually maybe stepping outside of the conversation, just looking at it, like, I would see it as like being in a bird's eye view and just really listening to what that person has to say. I feel like there's so many things that could, like, unravel if we are, like, if we harness that being a great listener.
Absolutely. And you said something that it's extremely profound. Um, Oftentimes we'll draw different relationships into our existence based off of a past self or things that we're needing to work on within ourselves. That's very, very true. Um, and people are wondering, why do I keep meeting this same individual, right? Which is why, I encourage anyone that's listening to today's show, if you have not done any due diligence on finding out more about your human design chart, trust me when I tell you, you think pulling your natal chart is something. Your human design will give you all of the answers that you're looking for, especially if you continue centering yourself around a certain sign, or either, just certain energies that you're having to deal with. It tells you a lot about, like your past self, and just things prior to your knowledge that you never would have even possibly thought of. And it'll put a lot of things into perspective. But it really, again, going back to my initial statement, with your statement being so profound, a lot of people don't think to look at themselves. They will tend to say things like, oh, well, this person, they want to point outward, and they don't like to take the time to look into themselves and see, well, did I communicate this effectively? Did I miss something? Did I not listen to a question or a statement within its entirety? Like, what is it? Did I lose anything? Instead, it's easier to blame the other person. And that kind of goes case in point to, not wanting to take accountability for certain things. Now, we all know that in actuality, there are situations where someone is just being negligent with listening. But if you continue to have the same issue, the same exact issue of, whatever, you may want to take a look at yourself and get to the root of why this is being called into your threshold. It could be something that you're emitting from within your power source that you are unaware of, that's drawing certain types of energies into you. And if that is the indication, as I mentioned, you definitely want to, pull your chart, get your human design chart and kind of review that, and it'll kind of give you insight. But if you have pulled your chart and you are aware of, who you are and certain things like that, and it literally is maybe just an exterior force that's being drawn within you, or someone just being negligent emotionally, um, it can get really annoying. And but with you being the healer that you are, and understanding yourself, harnessing that power, it kind of gives you comfort of how to navigate through those forms of situations. And when you vibrate higher, you call yourself energies that are aligned with you, that are befitting of you, or deserving of your space. And so that's what's happened to me. And oftentimes you will feel like you're losing friends, and you're like, well, what happened? Like, out of the blue, someone will stop talking to you, or you may get into an argument with a family member, and you're like, well, what happened? Like, how did this happen? Um, and it's more so energies that are needing to part from you. Not that you did anything wrong, but as you again start to really center yourself with meditation, and whether if that's prayer or just healing and really doing the work on oneself, you start to vibrate higher, and you call yourself into a higher realm, and certain frequencies and things no longer align with you, therefore they aren't able to be within your space. And that is another great aspect of the portal of 1111 too, or to really harness that energy and be in that bubble to where you can continue to grow and elevate higher. So yeah.
Wow. I'm always just in awe of how much wisdom, Nikki, um, that you're able to express, and it's very much beautifully put out there. And I couldn't have agreed more on what you said of pulling your human design chart. I feel like it's such a revelation. And let me tell you, that's where the deeper soul work comes in.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And I guess like you're for example, like for me, I started not drilling myself too much on certain aspects that I thought like, why am I like this, or why am I taking things like this? And it gave like very much perspective on how I receive life, how I see life. But also like we have like once we have this awareness, it really propels us towards deeper flow, deeper creative expression. Or not even like, even if you attach the term creative, just being in your soul expression, like it just, there's this certain radiance and brightness that you emit, like even if it's maybe like, even if it's just through a call, or not like through your words. I feel like there's such it could be very much palpable. And that's when I realized like, wow, I mean, the power of getting to know yourself like even deeper, and just really going through the different layers. But that's one thing. Then it's another thing to like get caught up in this work. I feel like there's so much to be said on this, but I deeply know that when we live in presence and like what you said of groundedness, of sometimes even like neutrality, that's where we meet both spectrums of us. And it's so powerful. I have so many things to say, but Chan, I want to pass the mic to you if you have anything to say.
Yeah, so me and Meg, we met in actually in Clubhouse, and this show actually started because of Clubhouse. We us joining, and so for the last couple of months, mm, Clubhouse has been like a journey where we really discovered our creative different sides of things. So when I joined Clubhouse, I had one podcast. Now I'm actually running three podcasts parallelly and in different languages and different areas, and been doing a lot of music shows and stuff like that on Clubhouse. So I think it's very important that Nikki said that listening and responding, this has been, I think Clubhouse can be a great platform and also for creativity. Nikki, what's your idea on Clubhouse and what's your journey in Clubhouse?
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy that you said that. First I'm going to tell you guys, when I met you, I was in a room. I stumbled across the room. I think I was following Channa, um, from another, like a music room. And of course, with him, with following him, any other rooms that he were associated with, I would obtain a notification in relation to that. And so I happened to join the room with you, Meg, and Jean. And when I tell you, I felt the most at home in that space than I have on any room on Clubhouse. And I will tell you why. Um, Everyone listens to speak. And I feel a lot of, and this is to no disrespect to, a lot of people, because I get it. It's a talking forum. It's what it's all about. But I feel like for me, I love listening to people when they speak, and I love listening to them within their entirety, Um, and a lot of people would see me in rooms outside of, connecting in the rooms that you guys would initiate. And they would just think, oh my God, like Nikki is so quiet and she's so this and she's so that. And it's not that. It's just that I don't feel the need to speak over people. I'm not going to do that. I like to wait for a time and a space to speak. It's ineffective if everyone is speaking over everyone, and whatever the nature of the rooms will be, because there's some really great rooms throughout the Clubhouse platform, amazing rooms where you're able to learn and absorb so much information. But, if you're unable to, effectively communicate or add your comments, concerns, or questions in a space to where people can really process them or hear the nature or the context in which you're asking or making statements, it defeats the purpose. And so I just don't feel the need to exhaust my energy speaking if I feel like what I'm stating is it really going to be processed from a space of understanding. And it can get really draining, so you have to understand, or I would say, feel the spaces where you're welcomed and where your energy is replenished. If you're in certain rooms and you feel drained after, or there is always drama, or there's always someone, speaking negatively or whatever, pay attention to those rooms, because again, that has a way of affecting your power and even your creativity for that matter. And I know a lot of people actually get onto the platform so they can be inspired or work with different people or network with different entities or find like-minded beings on the forum. But it's so hard to do that when everyone is not in a space of effective communication to where they will give everyone time to either respond or ask questions effectively, or listening to those questions and statements or comments in a space to where the communication is effective. I don't believe in repeating myself, like more than twice. And I feel like if you truly value and respect a person, and this is very important, if you truly respect the person that's speaking, you're going to want to hear what they have to say. So I think it's about understanding, when people do certain things, whether they understand what they're doing or not, and setting those boundaries. And some of setting those boundaries are not allowing yourself in a space where people don't appreciate your presence, because I'm a firm believer in everyone is a great representation of teaching individuals how to treat you, how to respect you, how to nurture you. And if you don't value my space, my time, or my energy, and it's constantly draining my energy, why should I bless you with my presence? Because everyone's energy and space, their attention, all of that is a blessing. And so if you don't respect it, what am I doing here? And so being aware of, making sure that you're paying attention to that, kind of shows you how to move effectively, so you can always place your best foot forward. It's a form of self-care. Um, Really it is, just making sure that we understand how to treat each other, and being present.
Such beautiful words, Nikki.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, yeah. I know somehow. I think I feel that was universe telling us that, because you walked into that room when we were doing that other time. It's like it just happened, right? And then and all the words you said in that room, we all were resonated from it, and we got so excited from that experience. So it's like, yeah, this clubhouse has been such an amazing journey and amazing creative outlet for all of us. And I think we grew uh, talking to other people, and also a lot of listening. And I think what my rule is, it's like 90% listening and 10% talking, which, because unless you're actively listening, you're not going to learn anything, right?
Not at all. And some people are okay with that. They're okay with, because they're not really there to absorb anything from you. They think they know everything, and that's a dangerous space to be in. Which goes back to case in point, what I was sharing earlier in the room. Um, Never be in a space where you feel you are too absorbed with information that you can't evolve. We always constantly need to be in a state of wanting to evolve ourselves and grow. And that, is a great seed for creativity. You know what I mean? Like that's the heart of creativity, is evolution. You can't stay in the same stagnant place and thinking that, that's all that you're going to need in whichever direction you choose to move in with your creativity. It's a constant journey and evolution, of just growth. It's that you need in order to fuel yourself and continue being effective within that creativity. So I could not agree with you more.
Absolutely. And I feel like the number one thing that I guess um that I personally started with was just the acceptance of I will constantly evolve, and it will take different forms. It will take, maybe different sides of you that will show up, parts of you that you will love, parts of you that you would not so much appreciate, or these shadow parts of you. But all in all, like they're very much vital to your evolution, because that's how you sort of fine tune and amplify your gifts for you to amplify the gifts of other people. I feel like it's such a great responsibility to be in your soul expression, because you get to, like, deeper, when you think about it more deeply, like it's really just more than just putting yourself out there. Because even if you have like a very small audience or a big audience, like it just goes to show of, like, maybe one person will resonate with just a tiny, like, maybe sentence with you, and it will like have a domino effect on this project that I want, but that I want to do. And like just hearing her, like, say things like this and that, like it truly just inspired me to start, like even if I'm not ready. So it's like I take that responsibility very, very like greatly. And I feel like we are really capable of amplifying our gifts to be able to give that of service to other people.
Uh, yeah, Meg. I would actually want to ask Nikki because Nikki mentioned that her uh, co-creativity is anchored on music, and I know Nikki, you have been like very spiritual uh, in your life and in your conversations. How is the music and the spirituality uh, sort of works hand in hand in your life? How is this two complementing your life?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I love your questions. Um, it it's one and the same. Music for me, as we all know, whenever we speak, there are vibrational frequencies that emit from within us, right? So whether if it's your tone, your demeanor, um, it's a radiance of power that emits from within you, and it's something that I've sort of been connected with ever since I was like a kid. And I know it's interesting explaining that, but I've just always felt in me there was this something that it felt like the sun, to be honest with you. And when I would sing is when I would this feeling or this something within me would radiate and make me happy. Um, and for the spirituality and the music, um, how it goes hand in hand is because, with the vibrational frequencies that are within me, it is a powerhouse. It's a source. It's the sun for me. So it's everything. It's within my DNA structure. Um, and being able to sing, um, which is the musical aspect, even from just listening to other people. I've just always known it was something that I was truly connected with, but most importantly, within myself, the frequencies that, radiate. I knew that listening to certain music, I would feel this soul connection to certain things, which is the reason why I would gravitate towards certain artists. And understanding the reasons why I would gravitate to certain artists later had to do with the certain frequencies that were emitted within their music. And I'm not sure if a lot of individuals are aware of that, but there are certain artists that will have, um, certain hertz with whether if it's in particular instrument, um, or maybe in their vocal capabilities that will resonate. And once you hear it, once you process it inside of your being, it can heal you. um, and so for me, growing to learn that and understanding that, hey, some of the artists that I would gravitate towards, understanding that this was something that they did, not only from their voice, because there are certain people that when they sing, they're anointed. It's a feeling that, you are unable to explain, but a person that sings, like you literally feel the emotion within every note that they hit. And so for me, I understand that is my spirituality. Music is my spirituality, from that aspect of understanding that you can effectively nurture people that way and you can heal people in that same manner. And once I begin to process that, again, that's something that you can do.
that became my spirituality. That is my way of life. That is one of the reasons why I love music the way that I do. And why, I was able to understand that it's one of the gifts that I have. Like having a guitar tuned to 432 hertz, that's a healing nature. You can actually heal someone. You can lower, it will reduce anxiety. You can lower someone's heart rate with that, or their blood pressure. 174 hertz, that frequency actually resonates with your third eye chakra. And, that frequency is ideal for, alleviating pain in your physical body. There's so many different things when it comes to music, again, with it being that frequency that radiates within our body. Like, you naturally vibrate naturally just by sitting or existing or humming. All of that, those are things that you could actually do to center your body. It's also a great meditation tool as well, to, ease your body and calm your body so you can get in a state of being meditative and, venturing out into yourself spiritually. So music to me, and I hope that kind of narrows down that question that you had for me, but it really, that is the existence of it. It's within the blueprint. It's within my cellular structure. It's all of who I am. And you can be musically inclined and vibrationally heal people from the way you touch someone, from the way you look at someone, from the tone of your voice. That's why it's also so important when people are effectively communicating, understanding the nature of their tone. They can be offensive, they can be hurtful. Your words are very, you can affirm certain things, with your tone and the nature of what you're informing people. So understanding that is being a responsibility is so, I can't express how vital that is, so that you will understand if you're listening to something that's harmful for you, or something that could lead you into a direction or evoke something that you're not ready to truly enter into. So again, for me, it just, music is, again, my spirituality. And the reason for that is just because of understanding the power of the frequency, and knowing that this was something that I was born to do, by the feeling that I get when I'm singing. It's a feeling like none other. It frees you, and understanding how it affects other people when they hear you is something that money could never buy. And that's how you truly, I feel, can stumble across and know that this is a gift of yours or something that you want to do forever, is when you can resonate with that feeling, that glow that naturally magnifies inside of you when you're doing something that you were created to do.
Wow. Meg, anything you want to add to that, Meg?
If you could only see me now, like my jaw is like just there. I could be like a fly in this room, just listen to Nikki and Channa like just exchange. I mean, wow, absolutely. I feel like, can we just take a moment of silence to just let this all seep? I feel like such great powerful words, Nikki, and I it just blows my mind on how like the approach of people like you, like it being music being not just a tool but like a way of healing first yourselves, and how that could be used to heal other people. And I'm not sure like if like each of us are being more exposed to artists that truly take that as a huge factor that comes into play whenever they would play music. I feel like this is something that needs to be more talked about. I know that of course like the people in the spiritual space are very much in the know of these different hertz that correspond to the different chakras or the different healing frequencies that we could actually harness and use to to our advantage, and not just for healing, but of deeper states of rest, maybe, and just use those as tools in our daily lives. And I feel like um, when people think or hear about, like, composing music, or like just putting a song together, it there's so much more that's going on, like underneath the surface of it all, of how it just weaves together. And Nikki really like put it very much profoundly on how her spirituality is music, and music is spirituality, and how that just goes together. And it's so beautiful. Nikki, I'm curious if you have any projects that you like to share, that maybe you can promote anywhere, or like how does that play out for you? If we can support you in any way, like please tell us how.
Oh, you guys are so amazing. Well, I have some projects that I'm working on for sure. And as soon as I get those things, as soon as I'm finalizing that project, I'm going to get it over to both of you and anyone that wants to hear it, because it's so important, like, it's just so important to make sure that we take ownership and responsibility of, of that power, just like I think I've shared this in another space with with you guys. From the great Peter Parker, his uncle actually said that. With great power comes great responsibility, and I think a lot of people, they just want the power, but they don't want to take on the responsibility, especially when things fall short. Um, and I am, from nurturing and taking my time. Um, I would get frustrated because I'm like, oh my God, I want to rush and have something out like immediately. You know what I mean? But I had to understand that everything happens in perfect timing. So not to rush, but stay present. And I really, truly feel so thankful and honored that things have unraveled the way that they have, because it's placed me in a better space of um, harnessing that power and responsibility, so that when I do release a project, I'm responsible with, every detail pertaining to the project, and that I feel very confident and secure in the frequencies that it emits. I am always going to give 110% to people, because I recognize that God spirit within them. I typically always will meet someone, and I treat them with respect, and I demand that. So that's why I treat others with respect, and that's why I feel that I've been connected with all of you amazing people, because of that. You emit the godlike energy, and it's so important to make sure that you surround yourself with amazing people like you, because you're needed so much in a world that is so chaotic, and for a world that has yet to really open their eyes to understanding their power to treat people the way they deserve to be treated, because they're still in a state of uncovering the triggers within themselves, and the hurt and the pain, and all of the, unfortunate family things that have been passed down, that they have yet to work through, and nor understanding that they're, here to break those generational curses, but emitting themselves within that. And that's what I am doing with my music and my voice, and communicating with other people. So I thank you so much for being who both of you are, Channa, Meg, even Jean. Like, I really truly appreciate you, for just being who you are. And my partner down in the comments, or actually in the goo, New York Rican, I want to thank so much for being here and supporting me in every way possible, because that's, again, making sure that you're surrounding yourself with amazing people that can uplift you and understand you. It's a language all of its own, just being around people that understand and get it, you know. But that's a long-winded way of saying after all of that, that I do have some things that are coming out, and I will definitely be sure to share it with you. There is no other people that I would rather share my project with first than you guys, because I just appreciate you. You are my tribe. I feel so at home with you, and I thank you
for your existence, both of you. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, we would love to, be part of your project, support you, and I just also want to thank Ivy, Nuyo, and we had some few more people joining this room. And I know we can go on maybe for a few more hours, but we still have to go back to, work and other stuff. So Nikki, thank you for joining and sharing. And it was just like I didn't even realize that 1 hour has passed, that we've been just talking, and such an amazing conversation. Uh, Before we close the room, Nikki, your last words.
Well, thank you again so much for having me. I know we spoke a lot about human design, and if there's anyone that would love to, kind of check out or check their human design chart, I know a really great website. You can actually pull it for free. It's jovianarchive.com. And I think there's another one that mybodygraph.com is another great one that I love to use, and it's completely for free. I would recommend, if no one's ever pulled their human design chart, to definitely pull your natal chart first and just kind of digest that information, and then from there, please feel free to go to either jovianarchive.com or mybodygraph.com and just do that work. But I really appreciate, again, opportunity of being on the space. Thank you so much for having me. I would love to come back in again and speak with you guys, because again, like I said, you are my tribe. And just namaste to everyone. Just continue doing the work. Know that you are loved. Know that you are important. You are divinely in this space and time for a time such as this. So continue just, looking into yourselves and being the best version that you could possibly be.
Nikki, you're such a gift. Thank you so much for gracing our podcast as the first guest to actually be on here. So we are very much grateful for you and your time that you've, allowed us to borrow for an hour. So we are here to support you, and just like what you said, finding your tribe is key. If you guys felt called on pulling up your charts, I agree with Nikki. Feel free to chat with us at Almost a Music Podcast and our personal accounts, which are on the Instagram page. So thank you guys so much for listening on this episode. And Chana, thank you for being here and continuously um channeling your creativity and your very, very much profound questions. Thanks, Chana.
Thanks, Channa.
Thanks,
You're
Nikki.
welcome, you guys. Oh, and for everyone else, please feel free to follow me on my social media networks. That will be a
Mm-hmm.
great space to keep in contact with me. My Instagram is April Nicole, and it's with two L's, so it's APRILL. And I spell my Nicole NICHOLE. That is my artistry. My artist name is April Nicole. All my friends and tribe call me Nikki. It's my nickname, and brings so much comfort to me. So definitely follow me there. And on Twitter, I am a Twitter head, Twitter bird. Goddess Nikki is my name on Twitter, and it's just Goddess Nikki Nikki. So I would love to have new followers. Feel free to follow me, ask me questions. Let's be on the journey together for sure.
Yeah, so thanks, Nikki, again, and thanks everyone who joined to the room. Please follow us. Please join our club, Almost a Music Podcast Club. Our podcast is on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, and all the other platforms. We have an Instagram account, Almost a Music Podcast. You can follow Meg and me on Clubhouse and also on our Instagram. So thanks again, and we'll see you in another episode. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.